So the Springboks have just got themselves a record-breaking win over New Zealand, 43 points to 10. You heard that correct. A 33-point margin. Now, up till this stage, New Zealand's biggest loss in history was in 1964 up against Australia by 15 points. The Boks doubled it and added some more on top as well. This was a very clinical second half from South Africa, including 4 tries scored in the last 20 minutes. New Zealand just getting themselves the 1 try throughout this fixture, and that was the first of the game. Leroy Carter on debut scored, but other than that, we did not see a huge amount of attacking threat from this New Zealand side. The Boks defence was on point. They made some brilliant decisions, and after some early handling errors, we saw them really come into their own throughout the second half. But in this review, we're going to be looking through at who performed, who are the players who maybe have a bit more pressure on them now, and also what this means for what is the closest rugby championship we've had possibly ever. But for the South Africans players who stepped up straight away, Damian Willemse, he was questioned a lot in that number 12 jersey, whether or not defensively he was going to be strong enough, but on defense and attack, he had an absolutely phenomenal game. There were times, even when he scored his try, the pass didn't even look like it was going to him. Way behind, managed to pluck it out of thin air and carried over the line to get the Boks the try. But he overall just had such a composure about him in this game. He had a lot of guys around him going off with injuries, but Willemse stayed consistent and did have a phenomenal game. Manie Libbok, the man who people love to hate, but in this contest, he was one of the standouts. After we saw the injury of Sasha Feinberg Zulu, which was one of quite a few for the South Africans in this game, Manie came on and had such huge pressure on his shoulders. Not only did he kick well off the tee, but he was making some brilliant attacking decisions for the Boks as well, and it just all tied into what was a very well-rounded second half performance from the South Africans. They came into the second half with 3 points down, but they left the game with a win by 33 in absolutely phenomenal fashion. Cheslin Colby, that man's hands at the start of the game were not working. But from there, he had some very great work under the high ball. He was close to scoring a try in the early stages, got turned to his back by Geordie Barrett in one of the better defensive parts that we saw from the Kiwis, but scored in the 25th. Also scored in the 44th, eventually went off with a HIA, and I believe he actually failed that. So the toll just keeps on increasing from the physicality of this contest. Willemse, like I said, he was able to score in the 62nd. 6 minutes later, we saw Kwaka Smith, Mr. Impact, scoring himself the try. Then Snyman did manage to get one in the 73rd, and Andre Esterhuizen finishing off the job with just a barnstorming type of run over the try line. New Zealand really did struggle with the physicality from South Africa, not just in their running, but also when it came to the scrums as well. There were many times New Zealand all but given away penalties, and on quite a few occasions given away that advantage. The lineouts were far from perfect, so there is a lot to look at for this New Zealand team, but I also don't think that at all with New Zealand's mistakes, it can discount just how strong South Africa were on the day. But they will be looking forward to the next round of the Rugby Championship. Rassie going with experimental in this lineup, and now having 2 more games up against the Argentinians, 1 in South Africa, also 1 in England. I feel it puts the Boks in a very good position to be able to take out this Rugby Championship. We will also get to see the Australians go head-to-head with New Zealand for the Bledisloe Cup. Few more injury returns perhaps, but also a couple more injuries added to the list. Noah Hotham taking a nasty knock to his head. Also seemed like maybe something in his leg was playing up. I said it from the start. He shouldn't have been starting in this game. At most, give him the chance off the bench. But for New Zealand, their backline was just almost always on a different page than each other. And also at the end of the game, had 5 fullbacks on the field. South Africa, they were great out there for that second 40. I can't get over how well they just kept on dominating. Jasper Visser, game changer. The fact that he was back, you could see it straight away. The physicality was back on show. Sio Kolisi, as much as people like to critique his game, he had a very solid one. Also having that line break from Sio Kolisi, showing more pace than I think we've seen from that man in quite some time. And then the power up front, Arge Snyman making his way off the bench and straight away changing the game too. It was just a really hectic kind of game of rugby, and it is great for the Rugby Championship. 2 wins apiece for every single side heading into the last round. But now the questions. What does Rassie change for his next lineup? What does Scott Robertson do with this current New Zealand pack? And who will take out the Rugby Championship competition? But I do thank you all very much for tuning into this brief review. The exciting news is we've got another game just around the corner. That is New Zealand versus South Africa for the Women's Rugby World Cup quarterfinal. I will be doing that one on the channel too, so be sure to check it out. But let me know what you thought of this game. Were you surprised by the scoreline? I assume 99% of people would probably say yes, but who was your man of the match? And also, who is winning the Rugby Championship? Do let me know. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.